If you're standing in a marriage that feels shattered or trying to figure out whether it's even safe to hope again, you're exactly who I'm speaking to. I want to share what betrayal actually does, and I want to start that with the truth. Betrayal doesn't just break your heart, it breaks your ability to feel safe. It's not just about emotional pain, it also shows up in your body physically, in your breath, in your breathing, in your memory, in your nervous system, and even in your gut instincts. You're not dramatic for being on edge, and you're not unforgiving for so hurting. You're also not behind because it's been months or even years and you're still not over it. I hate those words, get over it. They're not helpful, right? Your body remembers what your mind tried to forget, and that's not weakness, that's trauma. So if your healing hasn't been clean or fast or in a straight line, that's okay. That's normal. You don't need to perform peace. You need truth, and that's what we're doing here. We're standing on the truth. Let me tell you why trust doesn't come back on command. Because you might want to trust again, and you might even miss what it felt like to relax, to believe the best, and to stop looking over your shoulder. But trust doesn't come back just because someone says, I'm sorry. It comes back when safety shows up and stays. And if you're asking yourself, why can't I just trust them again? That question assumes trust is something you can force, but you can't. Trust is rebuilt slowly when words match action consistently over time. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to say, I hear your apology, but I need to see your fruit. You are also allowed to stay and ask the hard questions. That doesn't make you bitter. That makes you brave, and that makes you wise. Let's talk about some scripture that doesn't minimize your pain. You've all heard the verses, right? Love keeps no record of wrongs, forgive 70 times 7. But you rarely hear what Proverbs 4:23 says. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Or even Psalm 34:18. God is close to the brokenhearted. He saves those who are crushed in spirit. Guarding your heart isn't cold. It's biblical, it's discerning, it's required for the right kind of peace. Forgiveness and trust are not the same thing. Forgiveness is something you give because Christ gave it first. He's the Prince of Peace. He's where you get the right kind of peace. Trust is something that gets rebuilt, or sometimes it doesn't, and that's not sin, that's stewardship. Even Jesus didn't entrust himself to everyone, and you don't have to either. Here I'm going to share what healing really looks like. And if you've been waiting for healing to feel tidy or obvious, let me say this with love. It won't. Healing might look something like this. Sitting in the car outside a counseling office wondering if it's worth even going in. Saying, I don't know how to fix this, but I also don't want to keep pretending either. Taking deep breaths when the memories come back and choosing not to spiral anyway. Crying in worship, not because you're healed, but because you know and still believe God's near to you and he cares about you. Healing isn't one big moment. It's 1,000 brave small ones, one step at a time. It's permission to feel messy and still be faithful, to be guarded and still be open to grace, to not have a clear answer yet and still show up to the process. And listen, you don't need your spouse to be perfect for you to heal. You need them to be honest, and you need you to be honest, and both of you to look in the mirror. So if betrayal feels isolating, you're not invisible here. You don't have to shrink to survive. In closing, if betrayal made you question everything you thought was safe and you're ready to rebuild trust with God leading, not guilt pushing, subscribe and come back next Tuesday. You don't have to fix everything overnight, and you don't have to prove you're strong to heal. You just have to keep showing up with honesty, patience, wisdom, transparency, and the kind of hope that doesn't require pretending.